Hi, everybody. Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Thursday, September the 24th. Let's throw up the field for race number 3 at Belmont Park. We're going a one-turn mile and a 16th. This is a 62,500 optional claimer. Now winners of 2 other than. Only a field of 5, but some quality horses in here with some promise. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. One of the key components, I think, to handicapping this race is to analyzing the pace situation, Mike. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I agree with that blue bar scenario. There does not seem to be a lot of speed in this race.
Yeah, there's not a ton of speed in here, but there are, the 3 horses that they have right up there sort of close together on the lead. I mean, all of those horses kind of have the same running style, Dan. It feels like they all want to be forward in their races. I don't think they're going to be flying up front. They never are, it seems like, in these races in New York anymore. But I think the pace is, I don't think let's put it this way, the closer, the horse that wants to be off the pace, just may not be that badly compromised.
I wonder if the number 1 Empty Tomb's a little bit dirtied up on form. His last race came on a wet track, the time before that on turf, the time before that a wet track, and the 2 times before that against stakes horses like Knicks Go and Pirates Punch. His most recent race at Saratoga, he was on the lead, he was pushed throughout by the odds-on favorite, and he was simply second best. One of his advantages is his speed.
Yeah, he does have really good speed. I also feel like the shorter distance of this race around 1 turn could really work for this horse, Dan. He ran fine last time. The pace was legitimate. The horse that beat him, NYC, is a talented horse. Ran a 96 buyer to win that race. And Empty Tomb was only second best. I thought he ran fine. He does have some back races that make him interesting in here. And he could make the early lead. There's plenty to like about this horse.
Number 2, Legit. You see him at the back of the pack on your Timeform US pace projector, and that's just the way he runs. He has no speed whatsoever. He began his career as an April 3-year-old for Todd. He won his first 2 races impressively, and you were thinking, well, maybe he's going to be something. And then he disappeared for almost 2 years, and ever since he's come back, he's yet to find the winner's circle. This most recent race at Saratoga was a step in the right direction from a buyer standpoint, but it must be noted that he got a big pace to run at. The 3 Seafoam took them all the way on a very fast pace. You see Winston's Chance, the 5, who's also back in the race. He was on a hard chase throughout. Legit kind of had the run of the race here, Mike, and I'm not sure if that scenario applies this time around.
It just feels like it's going to be a totally different situation here. Seafoam, I don't know where that race came from Seafoam, but he ran a giant race that day on a wicked pace, and he just never stopped. And Legit was rolling at the end of the race, Dan, but he was rolling into a great setup, and it just feels like this race won't be run that way. I just couldn't take that horse off of that last race.
Backside of the Moon's been a hard hitter in New York for a long time, and what a fascinating claim. These connections claimed the then 7-year-old gelding for $100,000 around Thanksgiving time last year. He's rewarded them with a couple of stakes placings. Now he's in for the 62.5. But you look at the horses he's been in against. He's just been in against way tougher competition than the field he's facing here. I thought 2 starts back at Belmont, that trip didn't exactly work out for him. Buried down on the rail behind some horses that came back to dominate the Forgo. And last time out in the Alydar, he was in against a good field as well.
Yeah, that's sort of been the story for him. They claimed him for 100,000, as you said. He's run 5 times for his new connections without a win, but every one of those races just against way better horses. And you know what? He didn't run poorly in any of those races. He's actually really held his form for Bob Caceres. This is a very underrated horse. He's not going to be up there with the leaders early, Dan, but he's not slow early. He's not going to get, I don't think he's going to be compromised by the pace of this race. There's a lot to like about this horse.
The horse with arguably the brightest future is the lightly raced number 4 Kingmeister, and let's watch his win in an off-the-turf race against only 3 other rivals going 7/8 at Saratoga. You don't win this race any easier. He sat right off the lead. He took over turning into the stretch. Jose Lezcano never got the whip out. These are much tougher horses. He's going to be facing older horses for the first time, and the field he beat in this race, I mean, the favorite was a questionable favorite coming in from Maryland.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that Kingmeister wasn't favored in that race right there. He ran well in there. He did not beat a very strong field. But listen, both of his races for Shug since he's returned from the layoff, the turf start and that race we just watched, he ran well both times. This is a good horse, Dan. It's just he's facing some real hard-hitting horses in this race, and he's going to have to improve to beat this field.
Winston's Chance is the number 5. We saw him on the hard chase last time out with that fast pace, and that probably worked against him as well as the 1.125 distance. He ran well 2 back for 50 when he's close to the pace. He's the kind of horse that has a similar tactical gear as Backside of the Moon, and he likes to win races as well. He's a hard-hitting veteran.
He's a good horse. He's done really well since David Don took him over, too. I mean, he was a good horse for his prior connections. He didn't run well his first time out for this trainer, but after that, his next 2 starts were both really good, I thought. And I'm going to give him the same excuse you just gave him for that last one. I don't think 1.125 miles is his best distance, and that pace was too fast for him. It's going to be a totally different situation here. To me, he's one of the 2 horses I like. I wound up putting him second, but he's a horse I definitely want to use in here.
Let's throw up your top pick in here, and you're going to go Backside of the Moon, and it makes perfect sense considering that the horse is going to offer a price. He has tactical speed, and he's dropping in class.
Yeah, I just feel like this is the right spot for him, and he's shown that he can still run. Even though he hasn't won any of his recent races, he's shown that he's still competitive with really good horses. I actually feel like this is a great spot for him.
I think the race is going to set up very well for the 4 King Meister. We're going to learn a lot about this horse in this race. Does he want to go this far? Does he want to be a stakes horse down the road? Because if he is, he's going to have to beat this field. He's going to have to do it from up close to the pace. I think he sits just off Empty Tune, ready to jump, turning into the lane. 3-5-1-4 for Mike, 4-2-1-5 for me. Race 3 at Belmont, your Thursday race of the day. Approximate post 2:04 Eastern. Good luck.